Today we will do our own ear wires and dangle earrings with creating our own head pin. We will start with ear wires. For this we need exactly the same size of 2 wires, and we shape it around some object. I find that the handle of the pliers is really good for that, and we shape them at the same time to make sure it's the same shape. Now we just need to create loops on each ear wire to allow for our dangle to attach. So to create a loop, we choose the level of the round pliers we want our loop to be size, and then we would have to use the same level of round pliers to create the second loop. We straighten our loop with chain pliers and create a little indentation to make it look more like ear wire. We always check that wires are the same size and the same shape. And now we need to create second loop, but I don't remember at what level I created my first loop, so I have to check against existing loop at what level I created my loop to make sure it's the same size. And we again use our chain pliers to straighten the loop and to create the indentation identical to previous wire. We're checking our wires again that they fit and they're identical size and shape, and if needed we can rectify a little bit and adjust. So we use again these wires for reference, and then we shape the ends of the wire together. Make sure that it's exactly the same shape and exactly the same length, and we will cut the back ends at the same time, both of them. Now I will open loop on my loop on my ear wire to attach dangle, which I've done previously. So I created this dangle from wire as well, and created a head pin with this decorative spiral on the bottom, which also work as a bit stopper, and then I had to create a simple loop on the top. So my earring is ready, and we're starting to do second one. For this we're starting to create a spiral. We need to use the smallest diameter part of the part of the round pliers to create the smallest loop possible at the beginning of the spiral, but we will still have hole in this loop, so with chainless pliers we will squash the loop, trying to keep it as round as possible, and we will try and get rid of this hole inside, and then we will start forming our spiral around this squashed loop. So we need to make a spiral as tight as possible, which will look well. It also will keep, so with very small movement we moving our wire around the curved end, holding our spiral with pliers, and this small round movement allow us to create the spiral. So we need it to be as tight as possible. Also, this also helps to prevent your hair getting caught in the dangle earring, and it's also makes secure end of the earring, which will not unwrap. While we're doing a spiral, we constantly check against the spiral we already made to make sure we have the same size of the spiral. This needs a bit more work. So now we have the same size of the spiral. We need to create 90-degree angle to create our pin, and this helps if you have nails to put a stop to the spiral and create the angle, but you can try and shape it with your chain nose pliers as well. So we need to have this angle. Now we cut our head pin. Head pin is ready now. We just need to decide which length we need to cut, and then we will create loop on the other, simple loop on the other end of the earring. It is quite thick and sturdy wire, so a simple loop would be sufficient. So this is our decorative head pin, which we created ourselves from a wire. It's quite thick wire, so it's 0.8 millimeter, and not every bead goes easily on it, so I had to help myself. While I did it, it's slightly unwrapped. I slightly unwrapped my spiral, so I just have to rectify it. It's not a problem. And now I will be creating simple loop. So I tried to create the same size as on previous dangle with my round nose pliers, but it looks like I left a little bit too little of the wire for my loop, and I might have to pull slightly to get myself a little bit more wire. So 1-2 millimeters if you pull from your spiral, it wouldn't cause big problems. We will just readjust the spiral after it's done. So I pulled a little bit to give me a bit more wire. And completed my loop. I decided to open this loop to attach my earring wire. As you remember, we're opening side to side to keep the shape of the wire. and closing via the same side to side movement, closing loop. And the closing loop flush to make sure there is no gaps. I used for this project silver plated jewelry wire, which is called non-tarnish wire, but unfortunately it does tarnish. As you can see, it looks a bit yellowish, so I would use it only for the practice or projects. I wouldn't use it for actual projects. So my earrings are ready. You might need to adjust a little bit where your spiral looks in order to get the best look when the earrings are worn. It's easily done. Just rotate a little bit to the angle you want it, and our earrings are ready.